This janitor is richer than me and probably most of us. I'd like to introduce him to you since his life is intriguing. In the meantime, I'd like to show you folks something. We are near the Philippine Stock Exchange to see a sculpture. The name of this sculpture is called Path to Prosperity. It's supposed to depict the rise of the Philippine stock markets to the economy, and stock will play a vital role in this story. Remember the picture I showed earlier about the janitor? His name is Mr. Ronald Reed. I like to learn from his example. After all, like I said, this man is richer compared to most of us. And let's see how he got his wealth. Ronald Reed was born in 1921, and that's right after the Great Depression. This will play a big part on how he behaves later on in life. At a very young age, he walked 4 miles just to get to school. And he was the first in his family to finish high school. That was already a big deal in those days. Keep in mind, the Great Depression was a very big factor in a person's education. To put it simply, the Great Depression was a time in America where everything was in recession. Almost no one can afford anything. After high school, he joined the military. It was World War II. He was deployed in North Africa, some parts of Italy, and the Pacific. He was later honorably discharged in 1945. After World War II, he simply went home back to Battleboro, Vermont, where he worked as a gas station attendant and as a mechanic. While he was working in the gas station, he already invested some money in stocks. He invested in stocks that earned a lot of dividends. To explain further, dividends is a sum of money paid regularly by the company to its shareholders out of its profits. While he earned the dividends, he purchased more stocks from it. And this is how he amassed his wealth. Investing, then earning, and invest again. This procedure was effective, and this is the formula for his earnings. However, he never sold stocks. Keep in mind that some investments do not have profits. He simply held on to those stocks. While he was working in the gas station, he met his wife. That's Barbara March. Barbara has 2 teenage sons, and when he married Barbara, he financed their education. Unfortunately, Barbara died in 1970, and after her death, he never remarried. He continued working as a gas station attendant until he retired. After a year of retirement, he decided to go back to work in J.C. Penney as a maintenance worker, in other words, as a janitor. This is where he got his first library card, and this became his go-to place to read some books. At this point in time, he really doesn't need to work, but he prefers to work. Work might be the only thing keeping his mind occupied. It might simply be just a way to simply pass the time. There's a good reason. It might be simply he's just enjoying the work. Or simply maybe it's just lessons from the Great Depression. Just keep on working. That way, you will never go hungry. He was frugal, but not to the point of being impractical. He financed a $12,000 house. He did this for his family, of course. Remember when I mentioned he financed the college education of his two stepsons? He knows the value of education. So he really is a practical person. He knows what money to spend on and what to avoid. His only indulgence is going to the Battleboro Memorial Hospital in order to pay a visit to their cafeteria, ordering nothing than an English muffin with peanut butter and a cup of coffee. However, it closed down, so he has to find a different location where he can get his breakfast. There's another local cafe that opened up, and it's called Friendly's. This one might actually sound like it's a play of words, but he was kind of friendly at Friendly's. He met a lot of friends to the point that someone actually paid his meal without him knowing. The way he looked like, he looks like as if he can't afford his meal. While at Friendly's, he actually made friends with the hospital director of the previous cafeteria he was actually drinking coffee in. He suggested to simply get a library card and also assisted Ronald to get his first library card in 2007. And this became a habit. He now visited the library every now and then. And because of it, he was able to invest even further. Not to mention, he was able to pinpoint which companies are a good investment and which ones to avoid. By the way, he avoided investing in technology because he decided to simply stick on companies that he is a little more familiar with, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, going back to his investments, it's not all roses. One of his investments, the Leham brothers, went bankrupt. Although he lost some, it did not affect his finances since his investments are diverse and many. In other words, he invested his money in multiple companies. When some companies did not earn well, it will have only minimal impact on his finances. Now, as a testament for his frugality, his lawyer mentioned that he will always park far away from his destination, simply to avoid parking meters. This is not much of an issue since he did walk 4 miles just to get to high school. He was born in the Great Depression. People that see him will always observe that he always used safety pins to hold his coat in place, rather than buttons that probably already fell off. He sometimes wears a flannel shirt and a baseball cap. Even if he can't afford a luxury car, his vehicle of choice is a used Toyota Yaris. This is the only thing he needs to get from point A to point B without having the hassle of simply walking a long distance. He lived a long life. And of course, that means he was growing old. And part of growing old means your health will deteriorate. He died at an old age of 92. Now, before he died, he gave instructions to his lawyer to give 2 million to his stepchildren, caregiver, and friends. He also donated 4.8 million to the Battleboro Memorial Hospital and 1.2 million to the Brooks Memorial Library, which at that time was constricted for money. This is the only time they found out he was a multimillionaire. No one suspected a thing. This is why he became a legend in his own hometown. As a result, the pavilion in the Battleboro Hospital was named after him, the Ronald Reed Pavilion. The librarian that received the funds for the library was surprised it was the janitor that actually donated the highest sum of money for the library. And coincidentally, the donor was aptly named Reed. He prospered greatly and was rich, but the reason he is rich is that he was well loved. And of course, he's respected. Everyone in the community actually loves him. Once you meet him, he will have a nice impression. His friends actually offered to assist him financially, not realizing he was a millionaire. His sons cared for him and still drove him to the library every time he asked. And if you recall, someone actually paid for his meal when he was at Friendly's. This is the main reason why I think he is by far richer than most of us. The community actually loves him. And of course, he also loved the people that surrounds him. Remember that he paid for his stepson's tuition? And the amount he donated to the community was great. It's a total of $8 million. That's quite a lot. His rags to riches story is something that's actually believable. It's not a one-time gig. It's actually due to time and his behavior in simply keeping and spending the money. And this is why I want to be just like this man.